You are failing to produce more art because you're showing it to the wrong people at the wrong time. Hey guys, my name is Tatyana Kim and I'm director-writer based in Los Angeles. Welcome to my channel. Currently I have 66 subscribers at this moment, so I thank you and I welcome you back. This one is going to be a harsh one. Let's talk about critique or critics. Everyone learns in film school or in any school critique. Be ready for critique. Listen to a critique very carefully because a lot of people have a lot of things to say about your work. My opinion about it, maybe it's a little controversial, but hey, we're here having an honest conversation. The critic is someone who passes their own judgment. He's a judge, he's a censor, he's an estimator. So my question is, why would you want to listen to someone who passes judgment or estimates your work? Critics are usually experts in their field, where reviewers are someone who are interested in a particular topic. That's a big difference, I think. But critics, they are an expert. They know their stuff. But what I found is that critics are usually people who do not practice an art form that they are experts in. I got inspired for this particular video from unfortunate critic review from New York Times that killed a Broadway show that existed only 1 week. The Broadway show that people were creating for 7 years, it was dead in 7 days. It's the most heartbreaking thing for any person who knows what theater is. I mean, for any creator. Is it fair to write a critique like that on the show that I don't think this critic had a knowledge of? Usually critics don't practice. Usually critics do not actually in the field they're supposed to be an experts in. In my opinion, critics are someone who really wished to be directors, or actually they really wish to be screenwriters, writers, novelists. But for some reason they still choose to be censors and estimators. Anyway, this video is not about imaginary critics. This video is about you. And I want to tell you, the only critique you should listen to is your mom's. I'm just kidding. Sorry, mom. No, of course it's not your mom's, and it's not your inner adjusting demon that is self-critique. No, you should not listen to that as well. The only feedback you should listen to is from your working peers. I'm gonna repeat it. From your working peers. And when I say peers, I mean people who work and practice art. For me, art is a constellation. It is a pattern, an outline that consists of different disciplines. So I would ask a feedback from musicians, from dancers, from painters. I don't want to ask an opinion from someone who never published anything. I would like to know an opinion from someone who is well-rounded, who produced an art, who published it, who went through all the little steps that takes it from the creation to the sharing of the piece of art. And they can generally give a very beautiful feedback, for instance, about the pace of your film or the movement in your photography or some technical things like color grading and stuff like that. So your working peers is a goldmine of insights. Next, you should receive that feedback, that opinion, before you lock your script, before you lock your edit, before you are done with your thing. You cannot imagine how many times people will ask about my opinion on their finished work. Why would you do that? I don't want to hurt you. I want to be helpful and I don't want to waste your time. And it's supposed to be very intuitive, but it's apparently not. And here's my opinion on why. Because people are afraid to communicate these days. People really are afraid to talk to each other and ask for help. I don't know what happened to us, but it seems like we're so protective of what we do that sometimes we just cannot allow ourselves to ask for help, to ask for opinion, to ask for the time. It is a beautiful thing when you send someone your work before you finish it. Of course, it's not finished, but I would like to hear your opinion. That's the most flattering thing for any artist. The most beautiful thing, you are telling them that their opinion matters. That mindset, I'm gonna perfect every detail and only then I'm gonna present it to the world. I mean, I had that too back in the day. But then I learned that that only stole piece by piece something from my process and from my artwork, because that day sometimes would never come. The day would never arrive when I'm ready to show, when it's perfect enough for me. That day will never come because it's not good enough for you. That picture, that haiku, that script, that short film, that feature script is just not ready. Be bold, be messy. And also, don't call it critique, call it feedback, call it opinion. When you're brave enough to connect with people, to share your work, to listen to their feedback, and you don't have to apply anything. You're just doing it to have a better perspective on your own work. When I show my first cut, like very rough draft cut of a short film, for instance, or a commercial, anything, and when you look at it by yourself, like 10 times, you look at it, and it's like, oh my God, okay, it's great. I'm gonna show it to someone. But even if it's Anatoliy who's like watching with me, immediately I'm looking at that work through his eyes. I see something that I did not see before. It's a beautiful thing. I don't know how it works, but the energy of other people connects, and you can feel something differently about your own work. So that's why it's very important. It just doesn't make sense to show your finished work for someone's opinion, because it's not gonna help you. And you're either gonna be very sad because someone's opinion is so harsh and very direct. I'm that person. If someone shows me something, I'm very direct. I'm no bullshit, just ABCD, this is what I think, and this is how I feel. This is what this work makes me feel. And I'm also very technical, so I do see all the little details, the match counts and everything. But that's also, I'm trying to get away from that, because sometimes it really distracts me from doing my own thing. That's why sometimes now I film just on my iPhone, just to practice not being perfect. The mind of perfectionist usually leads to that behavior when you are not ready to show it midway, and you only show it to people around when you think you're finished. And it can be very hurtful to hear someone's harsh opinion about something that you thought is ready, and you don't want to spend another 3 months correcting it, and then you hate that person and you never talk to him again. So be very gentle to your community, be very gentle to the peers you're working with, because those are people who are gonna lift you up, gonna inspire you, and usually people want to help. And please find a feedback from someone you can trust, from someone whose work is really resonating with you, with your heart, with your emotions, with your style. Because sometimes we seek for advice from someone we think are cool, we think are better than us, but when you really dig down, actually their style is not even close to what we like. It's just because they have, like, I don't know, some kind of success we wish we had, and we're like, okay, but it just doesn't work like that. It works when you are creating your own community of people, when you're reaching out to people whom you can trust. You see that they're working, you see that they're producing art. And for me, actually, it's more important that I see that people produce big things, but also day to day, they produce little things, even things that they will never publish. And it's very important for me because I know that that person is working on creating their style, creating their cinematic language. Everything is about authenticity. Not copying something that existed before, but it is about creating something new, something that you never seen, something very uncomfortable, something very unique. I'm gonna repeat it. Get feedback from working peers before you finish your work. Thank you so much. Please subscribe. I hope it's helpful. Goodbye.